Hi folks, and welcome to this Behind the Screams episode of ScareCam here by the ScareTrack podcast. It's Mikey, Hannah, Jess and Dan of UK Haunters as well. We are here at Wat Tyler Country Park to check out Behind the Screams of Cursed Essex, a fantastic event that you guys came to for the first time a couple of years ago. You enjoyed it that time, you got
amazing.
Lots of scares.
Massively.
So they're going to be coming back here in a few weeks time as well, but the team here, Daniel and everyone, were excited to get us down here and show us a little bit of the Behind the Screams. Now we've not had a chance to come to the event before, so we're quite excited to check out what it's like. We're not sure how much build they've got left to do because there is still about 2.5 weeks until they open, but it's very nice for the team to invite us down here and let us see a few of their mazes. So stick with us here on this episode of Behind the Screams by the ScareTrack podcast.
Cursed first kind of came to Wat Tyler in 2013. It was originally a council-owned event, and the council kind of wanted to offshore it to somebody else. They didn't want it to kind of be under themselves anymore. They didn't want to kind of be representing this type of event. So the current management team put a bid in for the tender and was successful. It did mean that they were homeless, and we had about 3 months, I think, to find a new one. And fortunately, Wat Tyler was that venue. So it used to be like North Essex, and now obviously down south. We used to have, so this building just over to the right is kind of like our infamous Cell 13. So it's kind of what the event was known for up until 2 years ago. We had that probably for about 7-8 years. And around the kind of time that asylums become controversial is when it kind of, maybe we'll just make it more prison, that kind of thing. And that was kind of what we were really known for. It's kind of like our finale. It was used to be a linear event, and that was kind of always the end. Most intense, loudest, hugest kind of footprint. That whole building is what we took. And that was a really great maze. Unfortunately, in 2018, we lost it to a fire halfway through the run. Wow. Which was a bit of a nightmare, but fortunately our guests, we got them to a second run of their favourite maze, so they didn't lose out. They got to do whichever one they kind of preferred the most. And you'll probably see when we take you over to the new site now, a bit later, our kind of newer version kind of Cell 13, which is called the Institute. So guests used to get their tickets through this cottage, which was all very suitably creepy and themed. We didn't really have to touch much there. And then this whole kind of centre, so we had a maze just behind you there. So this was like the workshop that took over that whole Dutch barn. This is, as you can see, a wedding venue by day, and this used to be kind of like our toy shop and doll's house. We then had Festival, our clown maze over the back of the marquee, what did we have here? This was toy shop one year, wasn't it? Then we had the Nag Inn, which was kind of like our haunted house, pub, brothel kind of maze, which was just over in the far field over there. So it used to be here, there and everywhere, all over the park, and it was a lot to manage and fencing everywhere, and the perimeter was a nightmare. We'd go all through the forest over the back. So for 2019 we decided, right, how can we give it a more festival atmosphere? As you can imagine, this whole big open space, it was hard for roaming characters to really take hold and get people. So how can we kind of simplify things, bring it all back in and make it more Scream Park feel and free flow? So I will take you over to our new space and we'll show you how we're doing so far with the mazes. Yeah, toilets will be, so guests will be queuing up and down here. We have toilets for before they enter, and then ones for the main arena that they can access around this side. This is all blocked off and is just covered by security, and they exit out of the event this way and into the event through here. We have, as you guys will have seen, a huge kind of cursed light up sign, which is kind of one of the last things to go on as it's the entrance. This is Bertie, everybody. Bertie's one of the owner's son, so he's here every weekend.
Breakdancing.
Exactly. He's a very talented kid. But yeah, so we have our kind of entrance in here, and then this is where we go through. I know we spoke about it before on an episode. We go through our first maze here, and then we've got another 4 mazes that they then do in the Scream Park kind of vibe. It just helps kind of manage flow and also reduce queues, because we're drip feeding through rather than just throwing everybody into an arena and then they pick.
Yeah.
So come on through. Slightly different probably from what you'll remember. We've kind of rejigged things in here. We've got some graffiti artists at the moment just dressing new panels and things like that.
That's Pam.
The theme this year, well, in our kind of entrance area is all clowns, I'm sure you can tell. We have, so this is where they come in.
What's inside?
What is inside? Probably rubbish at the moment.
Ta-da!
Wow, rubbish! And
it's a bin right now.
yeah, so what we're doing is clowns this year are from here back until they get into their first maze. There's kind of a meet and greet style, and you know the odd kind of jump scare in here and there, which you'll see.
Can I tell them all the next maze?
In a minute, once we're back out through this, yeah?
When we're through the next.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Good.
So yeah, collect their tickets in here. They've got everything. They're good to go, and they will be sent round here.
Everyone
Some of it might be a
follow
little bit dark.
Dun, 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 dun. So here we're still in clowns,
We're still in clowns, yeah.
but next is gravestones, and after that zombies. Like this.
So this is where our clowns will kind of run mad.
Oh, nice.
And we've got more bits to kind of go in here. Fun mirrors and some lighting and things like that. Obviously things
And
are
this
still
awkward
very
thing.
much a work in progress, but we're
And
getting
this-
that. Here is where the clowns will kind of torment too. And then this is where we'll start to, there may be on our busy nights a slight short wait to get into our first maze.
And this is gravestones.
Yeah, and so our first maze is the safe zone. So it's our kind of zombie themed maze that is mainly outdoors, as you'll see.
This is zombies. This is zombies.
So if you watch your head and step on through. So this is a bit of kind of like a storeroom. We kind of have an army guy in here doing the intro and barking the orders about the safe zone's been breached. No one is safe in the safe zone. And therefore we need to move on to another kind of area that we've managed to secure. So this is more kind of the storytelling, narrative-driven room. So we will get a quick scare kind of from behind one of these. But yeah, this is kind of where we really set the scene. And of course, everything goes wrong. There will be alarms and smoke kind of fill the room. And we need to get out. So we'll come this way. Bit of a workbench at the moment, but
That's
this,
a gorilla cage.
Hang on, Bert. So imagine this will be kind of diagonally that way, driving people out here. We've got some skeleton seesaw in there and an army kind of a stretcher.
Hi.
And this is where they'll kind of meet their first zombie, which I assume is probably what you guys saw in 2019.
What you did here?
And just to update it, we felt that although it was good, it didn't work having the zombie in the room for the whole narrative and then breaking out. It all felt a little bit stage packed. So by putting him in here, they'll already be ushered out to this way, and then he can kind of chase them out the back route. Because that's shut up at the moment, I'm going to run us around kind of the back way, if that's all right. So Sin and Toxie, as you will have seen, you guys would have met them in person, and obviously you two would have mingled with them many a time.
I'm the better one.
Over.
No, he's not.
Orange is always better.
No, green is.
Blue.
Orange and green.
Exactly, blue, exactly.
Orange.
Blue, debatable.
So this is the majority of the team that will be taking that kind of clown area this year, the meet and greet, the scares, that initial kind of putting the willies up the guests, I think is the phrase that you guys enjoy. Kirsty's got a bigger one than all of these lads, so
It's a good touch job.
but yes, if you follow me, so we're continuing with the safe zone. The last room gets completely dressed in camo netting all over it, so it's all dark and it all just kind of blends in with this exit.
We got lost in here last year.
Did you?
We
Well,
found
this
a boom
year,
hole, thought it was an entrance.
And we went in the
then
boom
the
hole.
next was like, whoa, no! So it just kind of ran back.
yeah, that is it's funny when you do get a customer actually scare you and you're like, "Oh." Don't break character, don't break character.
Now through here.
Yeah, but hopefully so you guys will see that we're here in 2019. We've made things higher, so the line of sight is kind of a lot less
I even fit
less
through
visual, and a few more kind of things to weave, bob and duck under.
here. Bob's my dad.
If you lead the way, follow us. We can get out this way, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this way. We've conveniently left some gaps just for while we are building it, so that we can
I
get
got
through
confused where you are.
fairly quickly. But yeah, so we have normally 3 or 4 actors populating here. that on top of different levels, that kind of thing, from underneath to really start to feel like the halls are honing in, kind of thing. Obviously, in 2019, we kind of had a ramp and a hill for people to get up. And 2019 was potentially some of the wettest weather we'd ever had, which made the ramp rather slippy. And, you know, touch wood, we had no problems, but we just thought, let's not even explore that this year. Let's not even explore that. So we used to go kind of through with those little weird kids that are in there. Yeah, pretty creepy in themselves, but yeah, it's a lot. That was a huge big field, so we're kind of bringing everything in.
Now we're going through a warp pipe.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Here we got a kind of broken down car that will have kind of like the headlights and the horn and everything kind of come to life on sensors.
You can go that way or that way.
They'll then loop just around this kind of brambles and then come back down, but there's nothing there. So I won't make you walk any further than we have to. So that'll obviously be cut across there, and they'll come down here, and this is probably the final chase out. So we probably pack 6 or 7 zombies along this run, zigzag, just so they haven't got that visual all the way straight down. Main arena, so we're going to have along this hedge here is kind of like our catering unit. So we've got kind of we've upped to that this year. So we always had one and we've done it in-house. This year we've kind of offshored it, so we're going to have kind of like sweets and treats. Then we've got kind of like your main burger and veggie vegan options for your main meals kind of thing, and then just a drink stand, because one problem we had in 2019 was just one shack meant one big long queue regardless what they wanted. So we're going to split that up into 3 separate units, and that will be here. And then in the centre, probably coming off of this marquee, we'll kind of have another extension to that marquee, which is where our entertainment will be. So we've got a company called Fireflow coming in this year to do LED hula hoops and fire eating and throwing and all sorts of choreography related to fire.
Oh no.
So as a bit of an overview, so obviously just walked through the safe zone. We've then got like Alf's Emporium, which was abducted in 2019. The Institute, which is that far left. In front of us we've got the sewers. And then here is the haunting, which I'm going to kind of, I'll show you around first. It's a blindfolded maze, so there isn't too much to show you, of course, but yeah, we'll walk you through and just show you how we're progressing. First year that I kind of introduced the team to the concept of a blindfolded maze, so you could say that we were late to the party, but I've done quite a few, like Haunting of Molly Crow and obviously VIXI, whatever it is now, Elements. And just thought there's a lot more that we could kind of build on, that maybe the current concept is a bit tired, but there's kind of more that we could do. So 2019 was a learning year, first year of doing this kind of concept. So this year we're kind of really looking to build on that with more interactivity. Believe it or not, this wall is secure, it's just meant to lean like this at the moment.
Yeah, if you stand far away from that, it looks like it's 3D, but it's actually 2D.
Exactly.
Because it's a wall.
So this is kind of like the first room this year, so you guys remember we kind of had goggles. We don't want to share anything this year, so we're actually using COVID masks.
Yeah.
But black, so the black versions are the blue ones, upside down, so the metal goes on your nose there, and it's up instead of around your mouth. Because everyone can be given one, it's theirs, and then, you know, obviously we can recycle responsibly if they want to, but yeah, it's then theirs, and there's no exchange of taking it back, having to clean things. Logistically, it just was a...
This is my house.
Exactly. So this first room is where they'll get their narrative, so they're given their mask outside, they'll come in and be told by a kind of elderly lady about the little girl that attempted to burn down the house and everyone kind of within, but somehow it still stands. So the narrative is kind of built in here in a bit of kind of like a living dining room kind of area.
With a humongous 2D spider that looks 3D.
Humongous. And obviously our rope and everything will be kind of fitted to the walls at some point over the coming week. We have some kind of rooms, so it goes from feeling like a big open space to a much narrower space. We will have some really tight corridors. So this year we've got some vibrating floors and floor panels that move and a bridge that will kind of bounce and things. So yeah, really building on kind of what we started in 2019. One thing that we want to explore this year, so these are the kind of posts that will have the rope kind of running through. Some of the rope will be clippable, so it will mean that we can have multiple routes. If we're, you know, on perhaps a slightly quieter time, we can send people on a loop and really confuse them with, you know, how long are we going around this thing? Have we been here before? I'm sure I felt this wall, that kind of thing. So the actors will have a a certain element of choosing the group's fates on which kind of perhaps way they go, or what they do see, and what they might kind of see next time they go round.
Awesome. Smart idea.
Yeah, so yeah, a bit of fun. Again, still, you know, we're still learning what we can do with the concept and kind of how we can push it. And the intention is to have some sort of a finale corridor where they believe they've taken off their mask and everything is okay, and then we'll kind of be throwing in one final scare to just kind of, you know, get that visual that I think will then leave it on a really good note, rather than just walking out and you've just back in the light again.
Yeah.
What do I think it is?
The sewers.
Correct.
Yeah.
Especially with this, whatever this is.
Whatever that is. So this again, so for most of our mazes we like a front room to build the narrative. It's probably something that up until a few years ago we didn't do. It was just kind of throw in and meet these characters. But one of the things when I kind of took over creatively was to put bigger rooms in so that we can really set the scene. Our actors wanted to do more as well, you know, we've got some really strong actors that want to perform the monologues and various things that they otherwise couldn't have done. So yeah, this is kind of entering in the sewers, and we have a frontage which I can kind of talk you through each one when we're back outside, but a big kind of corrugated steel sewer kind of entrance this year. So I think 2 years ago we just had like a wooden kind of frontage, but this year we're going to go with the proper curved sewage kind of tunnel entrance.
The actors really made it last year.
Yeah?
They really went for it, didn't they? It was really great.
Not last
Yeah.
year.
Not last year.
We keep
making
out,
it.
yeah.
No one
Last year?
No one counts last year.
Now here it gets something like whatever Dan said.
Thank you, over to you. So the sewers is very much kind of like a sequel to our Old Maze workshop. So it was kind of the one that was in that Dutch barn that I showed you over there. So that was their workshop. And the butchers got a taste for human meat rather than the animal meat. Business was shut down, so they had to take the business underground, which is why they're kind of now in the sewers. So a nice kind of continuation, which kept some of our more well-known characters to see their next step.
Don't touch that, that's electric shockwave.
Yeah, kind of like a boiler room, electric kind of sparky fence in here.
Is that
the
actually
actors can
real?
go mad on.
Is that real?
No,
Does that actually give
for
you
the camera,
electric
yes.
shock?
But no, it's not.
Oh.
Yeah, so boiler room in here, and from here onwards are tunnels. So you'll start to see some of the panels are only kind of up to here painted because it's kind of arched, low, kind of little claustrophobic tunnels that weave through here.
Oh,
This
hi,
is Bob. Bob is one of our owners.
And he's my dad.
And Ado, who manages
He's my
our
dad.
tech department.
This is my dad.
And Dad.
And Dad. Hey, Dad. Hey.
In 2019, they come in here and was greeted by a kind of warden, prison officer, and this is where our photo opportunity used to be.
This maze should be up. Sorry, I should have said that.
What? Oh, did it?
I saw there's a good video of you in this. Go and down on the photo thing.
So with this one, we previously had you were greeted by the warden and you come in and you were witnessing an execution, and that was the photo opportunity which was in this room. And whilst it works, and we got some really great reactions, you guys included, the actor was in the middle of the room, the electric chair was in the room, everything was, you know, you could tell exactly how things were going to run. And that was one thing that it worked in 2019, but we wouldn't want to do it again. Because we get a lot of return custom and they then know what to expect, you know, and I hate the idea of people will know what tricks we've got up our sleeves. So it will be carnage from the moment they're in, so this is no longer a photo room. The prison is already on lockdown and you're being sent through because the only way to get kind of out is through. So although our judge set is here, it's all just pieces that our crazed inmates will be jumping off and on top of and over and under and yeah, so it's carnage from the word go, rather than that kind of, it's all good, oh no, panic, quick everybody out sort of thing. So yeah, carnage from the word go, which is kind of going back to our roots of Cell 13, that's kind of what it was always like and people loved. So yeah, I'll take you through this way, so they're kind of, this is where obviously there would have been sentence, people are going mad, there's Bertie on a chaise lounge. So this is going to be our warden's office, and he's kind of tied up and hanging from the ceiling, and we've got a desk in here and a chaise lounge and loads of kind of scenery and set to go in. We've got, so we do like some of our cells are on like bungee cords, so it's really fun for the actors to. People don't obviously see it because we've got strobe, it's all quite dark, so when they can suddenly kind of lean forward and they're like in the middle of a group, that's always quite fun. and we are going to get punters to navigate their way through some of these this year. We're going to see how that plays out the first weekend.
Or you could just get
as
my
to
friend
how realistic that is. And this is a bit of a sequel maze to Abducted, really. So they come into Alf's Tavern. Alf was the landlord of the pub, and there's been people going missing, and they're not really too sure how or what or where they've gone. But no one seems to find them.
There should be ones.
Now, given the name is Abducted, it was kind of the clue that extraterrestrial alien life forms were the kind of vibe that we were going for here for our main protagonist, which is why his name is Alf, just as a bit of a nod to alien life form, and that was kind of the clue for people that couldn't put 2 and 2 together. So it was a pub, and you know, hospitality over the last 18-20 months has been hit pretty hard. So he has converted his pub into an antique shop. Through finding scraps that people were throwing out and all sorts of things that he thought he could add value to. So there will still be elements of the pub here. We've got the bar, we've got like the bar barrel tables out there, and a massive wooden penis. Please ignore that.
That's inside the wall.
Getting that in.
I will show you the whole piece because
Wow.
he looks very disappointed, doesn't he, to be so blessed.
I know. Yeah.
Guys, if you like me, you can take.
Why am I only just seeing this?
Guys,
Yeah, just stumbled across this yesterday. It's you'll see that there's a bit of a theme, that there's a lot of foreign antiques and objects that are kind of around here. When we bought this, we didn't realise it was a willy.
Sure you did. Yeah.
He has found a mysterious object. It's kind of like his prized possession, and people are coming into the Emporium because they're a little bit interested in what it could be, and maybe they might want to purchase it. So this is one of our eggs that will kind of be on a nice big podium and lit in all these funky lighting. In the middle of his kind of sales pitch to you about why you should and want to have this wonderful piece in your home. You know, the lights start going. We've got a big sash window here that will slam through there. We've got lightning and the rain and the wind going on out there. So it's a pretty miserable night. So just while he goes out the front to make sure there's nothing untoward, he's going to send you into the back room just until he can confirm the coast is clear, which is all basically any touch that Alf could get hold of is now in the antique shop, ready to shift and sell. Yeah, Liam is here, absolutely smashing it in dressing this room.
And his little brother.
Yeah, so we've got Freddie, yeah, Liam's little brother, who's 10.
Yeah, and I'm 6, and we digged up worms together.
So yeah, furniture room, you'll kind of see, I think you call them boo holes, but like scare actor runs, access all around, nice and discreet, so that we'll be able to attack from all angles, hopefully. So we're now going through what we kind of nicknamed Tentacle Tunnel. So we'll come through here,
I can even walk.
lead the way.
Yeah, I can walk.
A tentacle tunnel. Where is the tentacle tunnel?
Yeah, so we're hoping,
Tentacle Tunnel!
a lot more to go in, but for now it's a start. Just watch as you're coming round.
So there we go, folks, a Behind the Screams episode here on the ScareTrack YouTube channel. A huge thank you to Daniel and the whole team at Cursed Essex. Really do appreciate it. And Dan and Jess, you're coming down in a few weeks' time to check it out.
We
You're
are.
looking forward to it?
Very much so. Very much so.
myself.
Yeah, perfect. That's the best way to be, isn't it, really? And Cursed on the Couch is going to be coming back, I think, for one night only, just before the event starts as well, so check that out on Facebook. I'll put all the socials for Cursed Essex in the show notes below, so make sure you're following them and get your tickets. Like you've seen here now, we've only shown you a few bits, but the mazes are looking awesome. They've still got another few weeks of build. There's some scenes in there that are really going to terrify people, aren't they? So yeah, there we go. A huge thank you for watching this episode. Be sure to click that subscribe button, press the thumbs up, and we'll see you later, guys. Let's get scared.